Welcome back, humor consumers, to the Life Happens, Laugh Anyway podcast. I am comedian Tracy DeGraaf.
And I'm Cathrine, co-host and bestie.
Sorry, my phone started to go off.
Oh, that's all right.
I just hit decline. I don't even know who it is. Whoopsies.
Reject.
Anyway, welcome back to the Pod Lab, Cathrine. This is exciting.
It is exciting.
Yeah.
We have a lot in the queue again.
I know. I love that feeling because,
being caught up feels like you're in a little bit of control.
Right. It feels like we've got all the laundry done.
Yuck.
Well, yeah. Anyway, if you're a brand new listener to our podcast, welcome aboard. Excited to have you.
Yeah.
And just describe for our listeners for a moment, Cathrine, what do we try to do here at the Life Happens, Laugh Anyway podcast?
Well, we try to inspire, encourage, and give people something to go away with.
Yeah, we do.
Think about, munch on in their minds.
Yeah, and we try to do it in an entertaining fashion to the best of our ability. We hope. Yeah. So today's topic is Valentine's Day. Mm-hmm. What's the day that this is dropping?
February 9th.
All right. So if you're listening on drop day, which is Wednesdays at noon, by the way, if you're a brand new listener, set your timer. Wednesdays at noon, new podcast comes out. And subscribe. Or how do they do it? Follow
or subscribe, depending on which platform they use.
Oh, lovely. Wow, you said that with authority, like you know what you're talking about.
Well, I do, but for that.
Good. Well, you can listen to a new episode every single Wednesday at noon. And if you are listening to this one on drop day, then you have time to get your act together for Valentine's Day. Right?
Yes. Ma'am.
All right. Well, we've got a couple takeaways. We're going to talk about the history of Valentine's Day. That's going to be a takeaway. We're going to talk about Chicago's connection to Valentine's Day.
Uh-oh.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, the Valentine's Day Massacre. Massacre. There was no curing on that day. Massacre. Yeah. It was a massacre.
Bloody mess.
Ugh. Yeah. Okay. And then finally, we're going to go over some trivia regarding Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I tried to pick out just the fun ones.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
I'm sure you'll
75.
stump me many times. And then we have an inspirational close, as we always do. So stay tuned to the end because we're going to point you to Jesus. And then our next episode is going to be exciting. Exciting. We're going to be talking about waiting.
Yeah.
Woo.
Ooh. It's not. So waiting is not exciting at all. But somehow we're going to make the episode exciting.
Here's what's exciting about that episode. We all wait.
That's right.
We wait. So we're going to help. I don't know how it's all going to come together because we don't have it planned yet, but we just have the topic. And we've definitely, both of us have been there in the waiting room.
Everybody has.
We call it the Lord's waiting room. Yes.
Yes.
So we're going to help you deal with it.
Yeah.
Cope. Cope with waiting.
Just in case you can't.
Yeah, because it's not easy to wait.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of waiting, we've waited long enough. Let's jump in. What's the history of Valentine's Day, Cathrine?
Well, it's murky. And it's shrouded.
All history is murky.
Well, this is really murky then.
Okay.
So, and it's shrouded in mystery, but basically it's like a combination of a pagan tradition and Christian, Christians who tried to take over and say, hey, you pagans.
Enough of that.
This is going to be Christian. So there were some Roman pagans that celebrated around February and what they celebrate, feasts and things like that. Then the Christians came along, and there are different saints, or I should say different Valentine Saints. And so there's three main ones. They kind of mesh, and there's legends, and there's martyrisms, if that's such a word. They were martyred, all of them.
Yeah.
All three.
Yeah.
So none of it is really necessarily true. They don't really know, basically.
Yeah.
Which one's which. But anyway, and this thing just kind of evolved into this romantic setting. And it goes way back, 14th century, things like that. So that's it. And a synopsis.
You know what's interesting about that? The first thing that comes into my mind is Hallmark. Because once Hallmark got a hold of it and it became commercialized,
right?
And then you have social pressure. Forget it. It's over. You're gonna step in line, get get in there, get your card, get your flowers, and get your chocolates.
Yeah. It's like Sweetest Day.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
all of those.
And you know what? It's so funny to me that so many holidays actually had their roots. Their roots were not really that great. I mean, you know, a lot of Christmas traditions were started with pagan, remembrances and such.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
right.
you know what? And we could talk more about it, but it's really boring. It's just, I looked at Wikipedia, and that was even more Yawnsville than the history one. So I just thought, we'd wrap it up because, like I said, we don't know which is which anyway. It's just all, like I said, myths.
So let's just talk for a moment before we go on to the massacre, because that sounds sad. But so before we go there, just between me and you and our listeners, like Valentine's Day for you and Kenny, I mean, speaking of, we forgot to mention them. They're our sponsors.
Oh, they are.
Our husbands.
Oh,
whoopsies.
Our true Valentines.
Right. They sponsor this podcast. So thanks for that, guys. Appreciate it. Shout out.
Yes.
So, okay, done.
Check.
Now, how about you guys? Like, is it a big deal to you? Not a big deal? Don't really care?
We have always, I don't want to say celebrated. We've always recognized it. We've always given each other cards ever since I can recall, dating all the way up to now.
Yeah.
And when we were dating, when we first started dating, Kenny would get me red roses and chocolate. I didn't like chocolate. I didn't have the heart to tell him. Yeah. And red roses, I don't like red roses.
Ouch.
I mean, if I got them now, because it's so rare, I probably would like it for a few days.
Yeah. And why don't you like red roses? They're just not.
They always
fan.
reminded me of funerals, and they're just such a deep, bloody red.
Bloody red.
No, I think it just it reminded me of a funeral parlor.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had said, if you get me roses, could they be white or yellow or, cheery?
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah. And I recall this one time in particular we were dating, and I was really excited. I made like a fish dinner with asparagus and hollandaise sauce.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You went all out.
I did. And I was still living at my parents', but I thought I'm going to serve him downstairs, like, away from the kitchen area down in the rec room. And it would just be us two. And I got caught in a snowstorm, and I was really worried about, making this really nice dinner because I bought candles and
you were ready, but it wasn't prepared because you hadn't gotten home yet to prepare it.
But he was caught in a snowstorm too, so it worked out where I was able to make that, and all was well.
Oh,
yeah. But I don't really recall any time in particular where my heart just leapt, because we just always exchange cards and things like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to feel so bad if I'm missing something and he hears this. He's going to be like, what about when I did this?
Yeah. And you guys have been married now for how many years?
29.
Yeah, so that's a lot of Valentine's Days, and you were dating way before that, so you can't be expected to remember everything.
Sorry, sponsor.
Yeah. Don't tick off the sponsors, Catherine.
Try not to.
Okay. I don't have too many things to say about Valentine's Day. Ron and I have never really played up holidays and gift giving to like a crazy degree, probably out of necessity, because as soon as we got married, we started our big family, and there you are.
Yeah, we
were dealing with raising kids for so long.
Right.
However, I do recall our very first Valentine's Day as a married couple. We had gotten married in July of 1989, and so the following February, which was then 1990, I was pregnant with our first child. I was very hormonal, nauseous, sick, moody, the whole thing, all the things, of a very first time pregnancy, going through all these firsts. And he didn't get me anything for Valentine's Day. Didn't do it. And I was like, dang it. And we were at Venture. Do you remember Venture?
Absolutely. Black and white stripes.
Yeah, they're not even open anymore.
No.
Well, we were at Venture, and it was the day after Valentine's Day.
Okay.
And he had the nerve to buy me some chocolate, 75% off.
I thought we were going to be nice to our sponsors.
Oh, whoa, I forgot. Wait, can we edit that? Take that out. Well, I was pregnant. You know, I was out of my mind.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I really was.
Oh.
Yeah, so that was the last time he did that.
Did you hit him?
I did not. With my eyes. I did. I was out of my mind. I
Sure.
really was. And so anyway, that I just recall that there were many other Valentine's Days between then and now. We've been happily married for 32 years, all in a row, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. All is well.
All is well. Thank you, Muffin. Love you so much.
Yeah. When you were a kid in school, did you guys exchange that Valentine's Day
At school,
cards?
yes, we did.
My mom always hated that. She's like, bloody hell, we don't do this in England, because my mom's from England. So everything was always measured against England all the time.
They don't do that in England?
They probably do now.
Oh,
but,
they just didn't then.
Well, and she said that, but perhaps they did. But I mean, because this goes back in Europe as well. I mean, it started from there.
Right.
But I think, at the schools and so
Right.
forth, they didn't do that
Right.
silly stuff. My mom would say, bloody hell, it's a waste of money. Like she would just poo-poo it. Plus, it took energy. She had to go get the stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I remember many times being caught behind the 8 ball going, oh my gosh, I got to make sure I've got enough.
For your kids?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Making sure they had the Valentines.
And then the shoebox that you had to decorate.
Yes. Times 5 kids. That's a lot of shoe boxes.
Yeah, I know.
Stress.
Oh, gosh.
I know.
Expected of me. Yeah, but I recall, though, when I was a youth, when I was in grade school, there was one boy in particular. It's all I cared about. I wanted the Valentine from him. Of course I was going to get it. He was in my class.
Yeah, everybody
you have to write
gets
it,
one.
But I wanted mine from him to be super special.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was it?
Well, I don't remember now.
Oh, I'm sure it was then. Very memorable.
Yeah, so stupid. I probably treasured it like it was, but it really wasn't.
Right.
Anyway, silly.
Crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on to murder. How about? What happened during the Chicago Valentine's Day massacre?
Well, it was on Valentine's Day, obviously, in 1929. Do you know what era that was? The Al Capone era?
Right. It was the Bang Bang era.
It sure was.
Kind of come back full circle now.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, on that day, 4 men dressed as police officers entered gangster Bugs Moran's.
Bugs Moran. That's my maiden name.
Moran, not Bugs. Not the
Bugs.
part, but
Moran.
Yeah.
Irish.
Butch.
Mm-hmm.
Not Bugs. Anyway. Bugs Moran's headquarters on North Clark Street in Chicago. They lined up 7 of Moran's henchmen against a wall and shot them to death.
Oh,
the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, as it's now called, was the culmination of a gang war between arch-rivals Al Capone and Bugs Moran.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And, I have eaten at the restaurant that's supposedly in that area.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's something that's like on their menu, like etched in their walls or whatever that they have. Yeah, because that's where it took place. But this pizza place is really famous. I can't remember the name of it, but they have upside down pizza. And it is really good. Side note. So George Bugs Moran was a career criminal who ran the North Side Gang in Chicago during the bootlegging era of the 1920s. And he fought bitterly with Scarfaced Al Capone for control of the smuggling and trafficking operations in the Windy City. So throughout the 1920s, both survived several attempted murders. On one notorious occasion, Moran and his associates drove 6 cars past a hotel in Cicero, Illinois, where Capone and his associates were having lunch and showered the building with more than 1,000 bullets.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, they were really violent.
No kidding. Did anyone die in that situation, 1,000 bullets, it seems like you could hit something.
Well, it doesn't say, but I would definitely assume that. So in the end, what's his name? Capone, he was arrested for that stint where he killed Moran's men, and Moran wasn't able to continue his so-called business because his best men were killed.
Wow.
And that's the
Valentine's Day Massacre.
Yes.
Gosh.
Awful.
It is awful.
We have a awful history, and it's going to continue.
As humans? You mean
Yeah,
the human
yeah,
race?
yeah, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
as
When you
humans.
see what the human race is capable of, or humanity is capable of, it's pretty evil.
Yeah.
So look to Jesus. Stay tuned. Okay, let's. Are we done now?
We're
Let's
done.
skip
We're
over
done.
that. All right, let's go to break to trivia. How about some Valentine's Day
All right.
trivia, Catherine?
Let's try to bring it up a little. All right. Before the X stood for a kiss, what did it represent at the end of a letter? Like a note.
Like sign
letter.
here.
Well, that's a good guess. No.
Oh, I know what it was.
What?
If you couldn't sign your name, it meant this is me.
No.
Oh, okay. What was it?
The cross.
Oh, it was?
Yes.
For Jesus.
Yes. Well, I hope.
Well, would you have to turn the paper this way?
These are just Q&As.
Okay, go ahead. Next.
What Valentine's Day candy was first created on equipment that was made for lozengers?
I'm going to say the ones that are those little, that they say, hug me and...
Sweethearts.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, you are right. Mm-hmm.
Those are cute.
I know. In the Victorian era, this is kind of funny. Mean-spirited Valentine's Day cards were called what Valentines?
Okay, during the Victorian era, is that like the off with your head, like, person, the king?
Yeah.
So-
Well, no, Victorian was Queen Victoria, so I
Did
don't
she
know
get
if she
beheaded?
reigned.
Did
You know
she?
what? They all were
Beheaded at some point?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, so now what's the
just
question?
know-
I forgot because I got all twisted up in my brain.
Okay. In the Victorian era,
Mm-hmm.
mean-spirited Valentine's Day cards were called what? What kind of Valentines?
They were called mean-spirited.
Well, no, vinegar.
Well,
Vinegar. I know. That's why I was just...
You looked at me like, oh, yeah. You're going to get it.
vinegar Valentines.
Oh,
Yeah.
bitter. They
Yeah,
were bitter.
Very bitter. Mhm.
Well, okay, wait. Now, that must mean that they were sent. Like, people would send mean ones, too.
Yeah.
Well, thank goodness we don't do that anymore.
Well, I think they do now online, probably.
Oh, well,
you know,
that's
'cause
just
online-
everyday life.
Yeah. Yeah. About how many roses are sent out for Valentine's Day each year?
In the
It's
U.S.,
In the yeah.
how many roses per year? That's
Do you
going to
wanna
be a
take a
guess.
guess?
2 million roses?
50 million.
50 million.
50 million. And by the way, 189 million stems are sold.
Okay, so
Yeah.
hold on. Hold, please. So if you're listening and you're a man, which I know that we have the majority of our listeners are women, right? If you think about it, if there are 50 million roses being purchased by someone, you think you could get your hands on 12 of them and deliver them to your bride or your woman? 12 out of 50 million? Come on now.
Little editorial
Sorry.
from Tracy.
Sorry. Oh, calm down. I need a drink. Give me my water.
Who invented the first Valentine's Day candy box?
I'm going to say the first Brock's.
Good guess, but Richard Cadbury. He was the first one.
He's from England, right?
Yes. Or
Yeah.
Belgium.
Oh.
It's either Belgium or...
If you've never had Belgian chocolate, yum, 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 you're missing out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who invented the first Valentine's Day? Oh, I just said that. On average, how many marriage proposals are there on every Valentine's Day?
Well, if there's 50 million roses, I'm going to say half of those, 20 million.
220 million.
What?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to propose without a rose?
They have a ring.
Even the bachelor knows
ring.
that.
Well, they have a ring.
Okay.
Okay. I thought this was funny. Kissing increases most people's heart rate to how many beats per minute?
Oh, I don't even know what normal beats per minute should be, so I have no idea.
It says at least 110.
From what, though? What's normal beats per minute?
Well, isn't it like 60?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, anyway, what I was focusing on was, okay, who measures the heart rate when you're about to kiss? And it depends on who you're kissing. It's not going to increase when you kiss your grandma or,
Well, let's hope not.
Yeah.
Well, that's how they probably did some studies
Yeah,
on rats or something. And
oh, gosh, I hope it wasn't done that way.
On rats.
No. Because how do you know if a rat is romantically excited to kiss the other rat?
I don't think rats kiss.
I know that.
I don't think they do.
But you started it. The Ratatouille, type thing. I don't know.
That's
anyway.
a cartoon.
Thank you for enlightening me.
You're welcome.
I was clueless.
I know. Okay, what else do you have there?
How much do Americans spend on chocolate for Valentine's Day? How much?
$50 billion with a B.
It is it's $1 billion.
It's $1 billion.
$1 billion.
Wow. Now that I can definitely see. I think chocolate, unless you're Cathrine, who does not like chocolate or did not.
Yeah.
Now you're more.
I like some.
Yeah, I think you can't go wrong with chocolate. So good on Kenny that he got the roses and he got the chocolate and the card.
He's a good poo.
Yeah.
How many cards are exchanged on Valentine's Day?
2 billion. 50 billion.
1 billion.
1
1 billion. Yes.
See, I don't just have no idea. No clue at all.
Yeah.
Not good with numbers, Kat.
That's all right. You're very good at other things.
I know.
That's okay.
I know.
That's it. I kind of didn't want to go on, but
you sure?
Yeah.
You look like you're looking at your paper.
I wrote myself a little note
somewhere
on another one that I thought was interesting, but I don't know where I put it.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
But also the telephone was patented on Valentine's Day.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, that was interesting. A little history, a little murder, a little trivia. You can't go wrong with that.
No. And I'm sorry, folks, that I didn't dive into all the details of Valentine's Day, but that's because I didn't believe in it completely.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's move along to our inspirational close.
Yeah, let's do that.
This is the meat anyway, and the very exciting part. So we're going to go to Matthew. The book of Matthew, which happens to be one of the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And this is Matthew chapter 22, verse 37. And in this little section here, it's called, there's a title above the couple verses. It says the Greatest Commandment. And the verse that we're talking about says, Jesus replied. Okay, so somebody was speaking to Jesus, and this was his reply, quote, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind." My phone is doing that again. Come on now. I don't know why I'm all of a sudden getting all these phone calls that are like from
spam
people trying to sell me stuff. Yeah, spam. All right.
It's the devil.
It is.
Start over.
All right, I'm starting over.
We got to talk. Yeah, start over.
Matthew 22:37. Jesus replied, quote, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind." And then the next verse, 38, says, "This is the first and greatest commandment." And verse 39 says, "And the second one is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself." And then the couple verses preceding that little scripture, it's Jesus, and he had silenced the Sadducees, which is a group of religious people. And then the Pharisees, another group of religious people, got together, and one of them was an expert in the law, and they were trying to trip Jesus up.
As they did often try to do.
Right. And so they said, "Teacher, which is the greatest commandment?" So they're trying to trip him up. And obviously he's God. And so he knows everything. So he knows what their intentions are.
But they thought they knew everything because they studied the law from the Old Testament.
That's right.
From the, Torah.
Yes. And they were experts. They not only studied it. They didn't just study it. They memorized it.
They memorized it. That's
right. They knew it by heart.
Yep.
So that is to say, and before this podcast we prayed, and I said this in the prayer. I said, let us make God our Valentine. Because there's always people with every holiday, it tugs at your heartstrings. Sometimes people are going through a season of loss. A lot of people in this world have lost someone that they love.
Yeah.
So we grieve with you over that. There are also people who are celebrating at Valentine's Day. They have love, and they're excited about it. So we celebrate with you. But we want to just express our desire for ourselves is to make God our Valentine, make him the love of our life.
Yeah.
And that can never be taken from you.
That's right. And regardless whether you have someone you're celebrating Valentine's with, God loves you.
Amen. That is, that can be, that's a period sentence. Like, God loves you, period. No, there's no like if, ands, or buts about it.
Right.
All right. Well, very good.
Okay.
Well, you've been listening to the Life Happens, Laugh Anyway podcast. I'm still comedian Tracy DeGraaf.
I'm still Cathrine.
We'll see you next time.
Goodbye.